Giuseppe Grammatico, welcome to GG the Franchise Guide.
G, what's up, my man? Giuseppe,
What's going
so
on, John?
excited for you to be here today.
Nice to see you.
I'm excited because, listen, obviously Small Business Saturday is coming up. You being a small business owner yourself in this local area, we were super excited to have you come in, talk a little bit about what GG Franchise Guide is, what you do, and for the people out there who are asking, who is Giuseppe, right? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what is GG Franchise Guide?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and thanks for the invitation. So GG the Franchise Guide is essentially, my role is to help people figure out if business ownership is the right fit for them. So we really, figure out, okay, what are your goals, what are you looking to accomplish, and we help you find a franchise based off of that.
Right.
As far as why it's called GG the Franchise Guide, it's my name is so darn long to pronounce and spell, so it's Giuseppe Grammatico.
Right.
And I'm local, I'm in Point Pleasant with my wife and 2 kids, and we've been living here for about 8 years and just love the shore.
Right. And so what do you do? So obviously, you want to help and see if these people are the right candidates to be business owners.
Right.
But what's the actual service that you're offering?
Yeah, so the service that we're offering is basically to get clear if business ownership is even the right fit for you. So instead of figuring out and looking at business listings and what's for sale or what do I like, do I like ice cream, do I buy an ice cream business?
Right.
We figure out if business ownership is the right fit and if a franchise is a good fit. Do you want a business that's built for you versus creating that business from the ground up? So we get very clear before wasting all that time in researching businesses. And then secondly, we dig deep on our second call and we figure out what are the characteristics of that business. What specifically do you want to accomplish in that business? What does your ideal day look like?
Right.
I mean, as simple as that. Just because you're in the ice cream business doesn't mean you're scooping ice cream all day long.
Right.
So we want to get very clear on that. And we summarize all that in a franchise guide, or we call it also a model. And we will outline or look at 2 or 3 franchise companies that really match that model and what you're looking for. And then we're off to the races. We help you every step of the way to help you with your due diligence, the right questions to ask, the funding, and things like that.
What gets me super excited about what you do that I don't think people realize or know enough of is that the person who you're working with actually doesn't pay you.
Yeah, that's the best part.
So
yeah.
I'm over here selling you.
Right.
But that's one thing that I love though, because I think a lot of people, the stipulation is like you're a broker, right? And that people that are selling franchises or the median person in a franchise is a broker.
Right.
But you don't do that actually. Obviously, you get compensated from the company, from the main company.
Correct. Yeah.
So do you want to talk to that a little bit? Because I think there's a little stereotype or maybe a stigma around the fact that in order for you to help me find a franchise, what's your fee?
Right.
And there is no fee.
That's the best
It's a no-brainer.
part. Right. It truly is a no-brainer. So essentially, no fee, no contracts, no obligation. We work with you every step of the way. Sometimes it's just getting clear if a franchise may not be a good fit or even a business may not be a good fit. So we're getting very clear on what your next steps are. So we get paid from the franchise company only if you decide to invest in a franchise. The best part is your fee doesn't go up in any way. Whether you go direct or utilize a franchise consultant or coach, the exact same investment. So you have nothing to worry about there. And so basically like a real estate agent or an executive recruiter, similar model. So we're here to truly help figure that part out. And that's why we don't talk about franchises until the last call, because we don't even know if a business is a right fit for you. So
I love that. And I think, again, I'm not trying to oversell my guy over here, but one thing I think that is super important, just knowing a lot of business owners and people who do investments and people who are maybe even making their first investments, right? Like I know that you work with some people who are in the corporate world that want to bring in some, passive income through another business, and they're good at corporate, so they don't want to create all the structures and the processes, but they need somebody who's going to help them find the right place. What I think is important, though, too, for everybody to identify here is the fact that what you're doing is not about you just making a commission. What I like is that, obviously you're tailoring their lifestyle, their availability, and obviously you factor in their time with their families, their day-to-day corporate life or whatever life that they're living from their 9 to 5, we'll call it, around that, right? So I think that that's very cool. Now, segueing into it, I want to talk about this. Obviously, you're a family man. What is your why, right? I know, obviously, this is like what you're doing here. You're helping so many people now start to build revenue so they can live and support their lives and do what they need to do with their family or their kids' college or whatever. What's your why?
Yeah, that's what we ask each and every one of our candidates is blank canvas, start with your why, your vision, and then work in reverse.
Right.
My why, I had a hard time figuring this out. Years and years ago, I had worked with a coach and I said, well, I want to make lots of money and I want to have this. And she's like, that's not really your why. And maybe I didn't really understand what why meant. And most of the people I work with don't know what that means. So when you take a step back, why are you doing this? What is truly most important? And I quickly realized it was my family. We were just starting off 2007 with a baby on the way. So my why was my family.
Wow.
And it was as simple as that. So how do I build a life to spend as much time with my family and then incorporate work and everything else that goes along with it? So that's my why. It's as simple as that. It may be different for somebody else, but I challenge everyone to really dig deep, think about this before our first calls and figure out your why, your vision. Why the heck are you doing this? A business is a lot of work.
Right.
I had black hair. I joke around before I started my journey, as I jokingly say, but it's a lot of work. A job is great too. It's a sustainable income. Why do you really want to own a business? And if that why is not strong enough, if it's just money, I don't know if that's maybe the best fit for you.
Yeah. I'm starting to lightly gray on the sides too, man. It's like
it's quick, but it's natural. So it's wisdom.
You're a silver fox.
Yeah,
You're a silver
there you
fox.
go.
So I want to talk about another thing. So throughout the pandemic, obviously, one of the things that I love about you and what you do in the community, I've met a couple different business owners from you. You kind of like collaborate with different people.
Right.
How through your lenses, what was like the pandemic like for you and your business or your clients, as well as just people in the area? And how did you stay positive and keep through and push through the pandemic?
Right. It wasn't easy. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I wish I could say it was perfect. So. Beauty of my business is we're virtual, so we're doing Zoom, which I've only used twice before the pandemic, and now I use it every single day. So, so as far as how it affected us, we were actually busier because now a lot of people are, not necessarily that more people are investing in franchises, but they're thinking about, okay, I need to go back to the office. Do I really want to do this? Do I want to create something else? So it was kind of the once in a lifetime redo, as I call it. So people have a chance to rethink their current state. I'm working from home. I experienced freedom for the first time. So, why not look at a business? So as far as how businesses were affected, in a negative way, some in a positive way. Certain industries like business coaching did extremely well.
Real estate,
now is you hear about what people are paying as far as leases, significant discounts. So both positive and negative, but I think this is one of those times, once in a lifetime, where you can go back and say, I'm looking at a franchise. What's the $1 million question? And the $1 million question was always, would you do it all over again, knowing what you know now? Right. So now I challenge and added a $2 million question, as I jokingly say, because I thought million was going to be that number one question. But it's what did that franchise company do through the pandemic? So unlike a standalone business where you may have some other peers in the same industry, but now I can go back to all the existing franchisees, in some cases 100, in some cases 1,000, and say, what did the franchise company do? Did they step up? Did they let their franchisees go out of business and close shop? So positive and negative, I think the companies that really pivoted, transitioned their businesses to go maybe a little bit more virtual, like we have tutoring businesses that went the virtual route.
Totally.
Those are the companies that, coming out of the pandemic, as we're slowly getting out of here, they're doing extremely well. So, but yeah, I like to always talk, give ideas. That's something I enjoy doing. I talk to, as we mentioned, a lot of people in town. So there's always different ways you have to pivot. There's always going to be, this is not the last crazy thing that happens, and maybe the stock market, and maybe something else. You always have to be ready to maneuver and pivot anyway.
Right. What's one of the things you're most proud of in your business that you've accomplished?
The thing I'm most proud of is that we truly, I love what I do. I don't have any employees. I work directly with every single candidate, and we've helped people experience the American dream. As simple as that sounds. And we've also equally have told maybe the same amount of people not to go after the American dream, or maybe not a franchise. And I don't say that in a negative way. It's just maybe their timing wasn't right. Maybe they were just upset at their boss and they felt like the grass was always greener by owning a business. So I've helped people either get into business ownership or maybe think about it. The simple fact, I always say, get your partner, your spouse, your investors, everyone on the line. It almost becomes like a Dr. Phil episode because they're not on the same page.
It's an intervention.
Right. So get everyone on the same page, because my best piece of advice is include everyone. Your 2-year-old kids, your parents, whoever's involved, because it's going to affect everyone, especially that first year in business. So I'm proud that I can give real firsthand advice. I didn't learn this from a book or in school. I've owned businesses. I've had ups and downs, plenty of ups, plenty of downs. So it's just truly helping people so that they can sidestep and avoid a lot of the issues or mistakes that I made over the years. So
sometimes people want to get into business because it's sexy now. It's they look at the title and say, oh, I want to be a CEO. But then when they're not able to go to people's birthday parties, or they can't go to places, or they don't have any money, it's like now it's not as sexy just to go out there and scream at the mountaintops that you're a CEO, right? So do you find that a lot in your interviews and when you're talking to people?
I do. It's almost, they compare it to the iceberg, right? You only see 10% of the iceberg, 90% is below. So people always say, wow, what is that person? He owns a business, he's got a flashy car, house, but they don't realize they invested. Maybe they had 2 or 3 failures prior to that. They've invested their life, their 401ks, their savings accounts and things like that. So there's a lot more to it, and I think the value I bring to the table is gonna let you know, guess what? You may not pay yourself. I didn't pay myself the first few months when I owned the business. Actually, it was probably about 3 months. So can you handle that? It's easy to say, yeah, I have savings aside, but the actual physical not getting that paycheck every month. So I like to almost scare you away from business ownership, because I want you to really experience and know what to expect. So a lot of people will say, yeah, I'm fine with it. They read a book, watched a video, but when I talk to them face to face and in person or via Zoom, I'll tell them this is what it's going to take. You're gonna have anxiety. You're gonna have fear when you sign that agreement, as I did. But do I regret it? Absolutely not. It's created the life that I couldn't dream of. So, so really think about it. I'll level the playing field for you. Get you all that information. You don't have to have connections to have the information. We have all the contacts and people to talk to. But really think about, why do you want to own a business, and what does your ideal life and ideal day look like? And I think that's a great starting point.
That's awesome. And this is where you plug yourself, so where can people find you? Website, social, the book.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it all.
Awesome. Yeah. So the great part is you can just go right to the website and everything is there. So it's GG, the franchise guide. So GUIDE.com. We have a podcast, Franchise Freedom. We talk to industry experts from all over the country, including Canada. Business brokers, attorneys, accountants, things like that. We have a book. I was original, kept the title the same, Franchise Freedom. Walks you through step by step. So if you're not ready to speak with me, want to pick up the book right away, you can pick that up. It's a free download. You just click on the book tab and the resources tab, and then click on books. You can basically have the complete outline of exactly what we go through in the entire process. And if you decide to work with me, I'll be able to coach you throughout the entire process. As I mentioned, no cost, no fee, and we do a 20-minute phone call with everyone. So if they want to just figure out if franchising is a good fit, we can start there. And there's a wealth of other information, including the blog. So every month we put together a piece on what's relevant, what's going on in the world. So go on there. You can book a call directly on the top of the top right hand of the screen, or you can just send me a message directly. We'd love to chat. And see if we can help.
And just to clarify, there's no fee, but there's never a fee.
Correct,
so
right. I always say
never
no cost.
Be a fee.
Correct.
Even just for talking.
Right, never a fee. So even if it's a general question, I do speeches and talks at universities locally. So if you have any questions, you want to set it up as a group setting, be more than glad to help and help you kind of figure out what to do next, and maybe plan for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and I highly urge anybody to reach out if you're interested in looking at any sort of investments, because again, it doesn't cost anything. At the end of the day, you're a resource. So read the book, give Giuseppe a shout out, and give him a follow on social media. There's a lot of great wealth of information that you give for free.
It's for free, right? And if you're a corporate executive, typically I say, making the transition, contact me. But I've also owned multiple businesses. So if you're a business owner looking to diversify your investments, create an exit strategy. If you're an employee that wants to create a safety net in the event you're downsized, give me a call. We can talk through it. And typically we know in that 20 minutes if we're a mutual good fit, right? You want to work with me, I want to work with you.
Right.
Maybe the funding isn't there. We put you in touch with a funding partner, but glad to help provide you with any insight, any information I can offer.
Giuseppe, thank you so much, my friend.
John, I appreciate it. Thank you.